Hello, my name is Joshua Chung, and this is my presentation on organizational socialization. This is for PSI 185S, also known as Industrial Organizational Psychology. And so what I wanted to talk about is a problem I had when I was very young. Uh, very, I was basically sent to summer camp by my parents. And this summer camp was called Meet Our Mission. I just graduated high school, and this camp was a three night, 4 day camp, and I had to go help in two different ways. It'll either being by a chauffeur or kind of like a backstage helper, or I was gonna be a partner and help a person with a disability. And then I thought being a backstage helper was kind of cooler, and so I decided to become a backstage helper. And when I first came into this, I knew nobody, and so I was very fresh, and I knew nobody, and I was introduced to these high schoolers, and I was very intimidated, and I didn't really know how to respond or act around them. And so throughout camp, I had a very miserable time because I didn't know what to do. I just did what I was told, and even then, I didn't even know what to actually do. I didn't talk to the group, and all in all, I felt like I had a very disappointing experience with it. And so what I wanted to talk about is the textbook's definition of organizational socialization. So this specific topic comes from chapter 13 about social roles and groups within the company. And so normal socialization is when newcomers learn and develop skills needed while also learning about the social dynamic of the pre-existing group. And so what this basically is that when people are very new and they don't and they come into this organization, they kind of have a gist, but they don't actually know what to how it is and how the social dynamic is of this new organization and this new workforce. And so stage one is anticipatory socialization. And so what this is it's about how when people go into this new job, they kind of want to know if this job is a good fit for them and whether or not they're going to be fine. Stage two is accommodation. This is where people most often would try to see why they're needed in this particular job and what they need to do. And lastly is role management, and this is where the more social aspect of organizational socialization, and this is more like what is their specific role that they need to be in this group and this new group and how they have to be. And so my research article was the title is Extending Organizational Socialization Theory, Empirical Evidence from Volunteer Work for Refugees in France and Australia. And so what this article was researchers sent new volunteers to refugee camps in French and Australia, and they wanted to see how well these new volunteers integrated into these new environments. And the main thing they also talk about was the three stages of organizational psychology, and they talked about how the same three things that they had to go through, and they found out that with those three things they were able to successfully integrate, and these refugee groups were very fragile, and they were very you have to be very careful with these groups because they just had something tragic towards them. And so being in these groups, there was things that these volunteers had to be very cautious with. and they were able to successfully do it with organizational socialization. And so the solution that I learned is that I really needed to initiate. I didn't really start talking to other people in the program until it was too late, and I didn't really. And it says the second point, I didn't put in the effort early. I noticed basically on the fourth day I didn't really make any friends, and while we were waiting, I like decided to talk to some people, and I got close to them, but it was already too late, and so I didn't put in the effort early. Also, it's because it is a 4 day week, 4 day trip, so time is very constricted, and but still, like, if I put in the effort early, I know I would have had a much better time um, during camp. And the last thing is, I didn't know what role I was or what I needed to be because I wasn't very fully integrated into the group. And yeah.